Now the previews are over. We go to the movie. Remember when we used to be able to go to movies? Okay, now we're going to show you how to go to webinar, create a
Create a web
website. I'm
It's
talking
too
too
early for
quickly.
that, Gene.
Oh yeah, I didn't put the right stuff in the coffee this morning. Okay, we're going to create websites. Now, the easiest way to get to your particular website is, of course, this. I'm at the district homepage. First thing, go to your school. This is the first thing. I'm going to go to Niagara Falls High School because I know I have a presence there. I'm linked there. You should be linked now. Diane has gone to great lengths to try to get you correctly linked on your teacher web page. If you are in several schools, she's tried to do that, put you in each school, but they may not be. And if that is an issue, you're only linked in one school and you teach in 2 schools, please let us know. We can get that connection made. Okay, so you go to your school. There's a page called Teacher Web Pages channel. So we'll click on that. And these are the websites. Most of these are the brand new websites. So a lot of people are signing up for websites, and that's really great. But anyhow, find your name. And once you found your name, click on it. This should take you to your website. Many of you will see something that looks like this when you go there. It'll say, your name. It'll have 3 blank home pages here. We'll explain those in a little bit. All right? They've been put there as samples, things for you to explore and use as you become more acquainted with building websites. There's some great ones here. But anyhow, this is the view that the students and your parents would see. Down in the bottom left, right there, it says sign in. Okay? All right. If you click on that, you will get to the user sign in page. Now we have to talk about 2 things. Some of you don't have a username and password. Okay. Those of you who did not get an email, this is probably because you have had an account at one time or another. Maybe you got an account to build a website. You built a website several years ago. Maybe some of you are doing a website now. Some of you built one and kind of forgot about it, and that's okay, no problem. But you had an account before. Okay? Only the people who never had an account will have gotten an email. Okay. So, if you did not get an email, there is a reasonably easy way to get your information back. Down below, there's the forgot my password. Click on that. Now, when you click on forgot my password, it takes you to this page, and it says here, username. Does not say email. Username. Your username is generally the first initial last name in your email. Okay? Mine would be G. Colbago. You don't put in the @nfschools.net. Try that. Okay? And click submit. What will happen? You will get an email in your school email immediately that will allow you to go in and change your password to one that you can remember. And then you should be all set to log in here. So your username is generally the first initial, last name of your email address. And for most people, just first initial, last name. Some of you have a little bit different. Now, your password is either the one that has been emailed to you or the one that you created when you get that email to create a new password. Again, if anybody has problems with that, you'll have to let us know, or let dspacone@nfschools.net know, and she will handle that. But that little bit of information should take care of most of your problems. Excuse me. Now, we're going to log in. Not the world's fastest typist, and don't worry about that. You won't see that. That's from another program I use. And once you've done that, hit sign in, and if it works, you're in. I'm going to stop here for 1 second. If you get a "this is the wrong password" sign or notice, you can try again, because we type wrong. But after the third mistype or mistry, your user account will be locked until you get in touch with Diane Spacone and she unlocks it for you and resets your password. So here's what we recommend. If you type it in a couple of times and it says, wrong information, rather than messing around with it, I know it's that password the third time or whatever, hit that forgot password, put in your username, reset your password, and that'll save it from being locked up. You're not being able to do any work for some time, okay? All right, how do I know I'm logged in? Well, you can probably see, but there are two ways. Number one, down at the bottom, the sign in is now gone, and it has a My Options. The My Options, all that means is you can go on there and you can do certain things like edit your account settings. You can sign out. You can change your password, things like that. For the most part, you don't use that very often. The big thing is you should have a gray edit page up here. Now, if you try to log in, this is the second little thing we've run into, and it's been taken care of for the most part. If you try to log in, you log in, and down below you see a My Options, but you don't see a gray edit page. Please contact Diane Spacone. There's a little thing that she has to do to correct this. It's nothing major, only take a few minutes, and she is, I think that lady works about 24 hours a day, Raj. She is constantly there, and she's get back to you pretty quickly, okay? So you should have that, and you should have the edit page. And once you see that, you are ready to work on your page. We're going to click on Edit Page. Now, when you click on your page, the first thing that will happen is that you will be taken to the first page in your list of pages. Usually pops up to work on. This is your work area. And I don't really want to work on it yet, so I'm just going to click on it. I'm done. Close this. Boom. And now this has taken me to the major, I guess you would call it the summary of the current pages. This is our summary page. It has our current pages right now. You will see that these pages here are active pages. When they're active pages, that means you can see them on your website. When you have an inactive page, you won't. just real quickly, we worked on this page yesterday. That's why I put Thursday there, Raj, in case you wanted it. I wasn't sure. If you clicked on it and made it active and then went back here, notice you don't see it. If you're working on your web page and want to see what it looks like, what your changes look like, you may have to go up and do a refresh. Don't forget you have to do a refresh. Notice as soon as I do a refresh, now I can see that page that I put in yesterday. Okay? Now what I'm going to do is, I don't want to see that, so I'm going to make it inactive. Anyhow, this is a list of your pages. You can create as many pages as you want. If you are a teacher who is in one of the upper grades, you can create a page for each class. Maybe you have a period 1 class, a period 3 class. If you teach multiple subjects, maybe you want to have Mr. Jones's science, Mr. Jones's social studies, Mr. Jones, or just science, social studies, whatever, math. Okay, you don't have to have it all on one page, and each of them, once they're active, will show up under here. So that's pretty simple. Pretty simple. Now, how do you create a page and how do you work on it? Pretty simple. Just as simple as I am, I guess. To create a new page, I think you probably have figured it out. You go over to create a page. Click on new page. When this little box opens, the little window opens, you need to put in 2 bits of information. I'm just going to call it hello. I'm going to spell hello wrong. I know I did that. Oops, go with me. I just turned off my monitor. Excuse me a second. Duh. And that's the first bit of information. It needs to know the name of the page. And it also needs to know what type of page you're going to use. Don't become confused. There are, I don't know, I didn't count how many pages there are, types of pages there are, but there are many. And you can, once you get used to this, go through those and take a look at the various ones. Okay? Basically, they're set up in different formats, prepared for you so you can use them. But for right now, we recommend that you go down and probably for 90% or more of your use, or maybe 100, all you need is what we call a blank page. It's a blank canvas, like, hey, we're getting ready to paint. It has a single column. In other words, it's not divided into columns like a newspaper. And there are no apps included. We'll show you what apps are in just 1 minute. Okay? So we put a name, we select blank page, and we're ready to go. Save and continue. And all of a sudden, boom, here is our workspace. And we're going to explain this in just a minute, but we've got a spelling error here that we need to correct. And so we'd like to show you 2 more little things here before we get to creating a web page. First, there it is. There's the page that we've created. All of the pages will be created on the bottom, at the bottom of our list. And quite frankly, when we go, notice that's active. If I go now and do a refresh, notice my hello is at the bottom. I don't want it there. That's the first page I want. I want that to show up first, okay? So we have to organize the pages. And when we organize the pages, this is the order that they will show on your website. Organize pages. Now you can just drag them to wherever you want. I'm going to put mine up there. Notice hello is at the top. Save. Okay, let's take a quick look. Refresh. Now hello is at the top, and actually over here we're looking at the hello page. There's nothing on it. And that's good because that would be the one I want to open. Now I have one other little problem. Hello is spelled wrong. And we're typists. When we type, we make mistakes. So it's easy enough to correct. You don't have to start over with the web page and you're not stuck with that, okay? Over on the right, we have a little tab called the Action tab. And there are two things that you might want to take a look at here. Edit page will just take you to the place where you can work on your page. That's okay, but you can just click on it here as well. So that's not really necessary. But the second one down is the one that we want, page options. And I know that sounds a little like, why do they call it that? But when you go there, you'll see the page name at the top. And here you can correct. Notice I'm going to correct it. And now my page is named correctly. So now I have my page. I'm ready to go. And I'm going to click on it so this works out. Okay, when I get here, I have a blank canvas, as we mentioned before. There's nothing on it. You can't type on it. You can't put pictures on it, links, or anything else until you put these things they called apps. Apps are like little tools, little boxes, little resource things that you can put things on. And as you look over here, you'll find that there are 30 some different apps. And that can become confusing too. But what they've done is they've tried to make it create things that make it a little bit easier for you. But starting out right now, the easiest one, the one that we recommend that you use first and most, is the Content app. It's the first one in the second row. Okay? We're going to use that. But even before we do that, I'm sorry, I should have shown you this first. Up on top we have apps, but if you look over here, there's a thing called layout. So very, very quickly, remember we said that this is a blank sheet. It's one column. What if we wanted two columns or some other things? If we go to layout, we can set up a page, for example, with two columns. Okay? We can set up a column with three. It's kind of like if you've ever downloaded a template for like building a school newspaper or something like that, or you needed two columns to write on and you set it up. These are different layouts for that page. For the most part, people will use the one column simple, just the way it is now. But I wanted to show you the layouts. Now, I'm going to click back on apps. Apps are the tools that we work with. We said use a content app. How do we get one over here? Very simply, we drag and drop. Drag it. Oh, there's a little green line that shows, box that shows. Drag it in, drop it. Now you have a content here that you can work on. Notice that there's a lot of room below that. That means that if you wanted to put different things in, you certainly could. For example, well, you want to put some information here and you want to put some more information, but you want to divide it. Well, you could, oh, here's a divider. Let me just show you a divider. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't do it right. Why did it not go in? That's because when you grab it, you need to bring it up into the green area and then show it where you want to put it. Notice now we have a divider. And then we could bring another app in if we wanted another one. Some people will only need one app, but that's in case you want to put a couple, divide it and put a couple of things. And that's as simple as it is. I don't know. Now, one thing that you do have to do is save, but until you do some work, you don't have to save. You have these apps here, and it will probably, if I go here and do a refresh, I'm not sure. Yep, there's the divider, see? That's that little line that I put in. See, so there'll be information above it and information below it. Okay? I don't need these right now for our demonstration, so I'm going to remove these for Raj. And then I'm going to say, okay, I'm ready to go. When I'm done, I make sure that I save when there is a save to be had. You'll see save, and make sure you do save your work. And then I'm going to close it off, and I'm right back here. And this is where Mr. Carroll is going to show you how to use that content app to put information on your page. You ready, Raj? I hope so.
I believe.
I believe. Yeah.
I believe so. I've been muted in the background, so
Yes. Yes, I noticed
there
that.
are some questions you're going to see right away.
Okay, and I will get to those. As yeah, if you take
Are
that.
you seeing my screen? No.
I am seeing your screen. You are showing the sample home pages that were put in.
Okay. And my pointer has changed. Yes. No.
It's an arrow. It's a white arrow. I see.
A white arrow. Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I do see a white arrow. But that's.
Well, I changed it behind the scenes, so you're not seeing what I'm seeing.
You know what? I wonder if you were just seeing a white arrow, because I do the same thing. Okay, but I don't mean to take your time away.
Okay, we're going to pick up where Gene left off. Now we're going to start to build some content. As we pointed out earlier, you're looking at your school district webpage, and you may well have on your navigation bar on the left side of it 3 different options for a home page. Home page 1, home page 2, home page 3. In putting all of this together for this week and these webinars, Diane Spacone put together some options, sort of like templates that you may want to use instead of building your own, or at the very least, we're going to show you how to build your own and how to work with those apps, whatever your template style or design is. The first thing we're going to do, and Gene's already showed you how to do this, I am going to change the page option. Instead of hello, I'm going to say, we're going to call this class web page. Now it changes the name here. This is the name that's now going to appear on your website when we go live. As Gene pointed out, you can just simply toggle on or toggle off all of these web pages that you have created. You may have a different page for each quarter of the school year. You could have a different page for each theme, for each current unit you're working on. Rather than get a lot of clutter on the left side, you could just have active what you want your students or your parents to see at that time when they navigate to your page. Again, keep in mind, this is for the audience. This is not for you as much as it is for you to inform your students, number one, and your parents, so they can navigate to your classroom webpage and get some current pertinent information. A lot of teachers do this at the beginning of the school year or right before the school year, late in August, and put up their list of supplies that they're suggesting that the students come to school with to open school. And a lot of things. Some teachers put up their schedule for the week. At the elementary school, it might be when the various schedules, the specials are scheduled for throughout the week, at lunch and phys ed and art, music, and so on. That could be right up front and center on your web page, just that kind of information. In addition, and we're going to show you how to put some of these things in, maybe a project you're working on. It's another way to send out permission forms. They can, rather than print it off, send it home, gets lost in the backpack, all that stuff, you could put it right on your web page. Any number of ways to put out information and get back information. One of the key things on the web page is going to be how to contact you. So here we have, I went into the edit mode, and Gene has already put up the app. These are all of the various options you have, and they call these apps. Gene pointed out the layout. By default, the single page, one column, simple layout, we highly recommend. These are all useful for separate and different purposes, where you want it to appear on your web page. Let's start with the basic one column simple layout. And again, you just simply drag the app over, position it where you want. You could have 3 or 4 content apps all on the same page. They don't duplicate one another because each one will have its own specific information. Okay, so here we are, and we click on the pencil, and now we have our blank page, and now we have our blank content app. This has a similar look to working with a word processor. You have your tools, your ribbon, if you want to call it the ribbon, across the top, and each one of these has a specific function for whatever you create on the page. We have undo, redo. I do a lot more of undoing than I do redoing. So once there is an action that's taken place, you can undo that here without maybe erasing the whole line and so on. Very similar in function as your word processor. This has to do with the formatting. We're not going to touch on that, okay? This next button, this is where you choose the size of a particular style template. The quill pen, that's way out of the past. This is where you determine the size of the fonts on your page. We'll look at those in a moment. And you can put in something of a preordained size, a table or a title rather, a subtitle, a heading, subheading. We're not even going to mess with those. You're free to do so just to see what effect they have on various bits of text on your page. You can draw attention to certain items and so on by certainly changing the size of the font. Then you have the very familiar, the bold and the italicized and the underline. Bold and italicized, they look different on the web page when it's published and live. Bold, certainly. Underline, not so much. Italicized, not so much. You can change the color of the font. We highly recommend and stress stick with black. The standard font, black on a white background. There are reasons for that because of the ADA compliance requirement that the school district has. All public websites must comply with the ADA regulations. For students, parents, the general public may be handicapped, may have issues with sight, and need that kind of assistance on a web page. It is extremely remote that this would be on your specific page, but the school district must comply with that. So black on white works best. The alignment tool, left, center, right. You can go behind the scenes, look at the source code. We're not going to do that. And then the second row of options, we have the cut, the paste. The cut, copy, paste, and just simply paste text. Then we are going to deal with these 3 buttons here. Here's where you add links. You can add an image, and you can upload a file, and you can also use a little tool. It's called it's a horizontal line right across your page. I've had some issues with the spell checking, and again, for the ADA compliance, we're not endorsing the use of bulleted or numbered list, but it may be that works for you, and you can also indent and I guess undent. Okay, so let's start on our page. We have to create some text, some information. So we're going to just simply say, welcome to my class web page. I think I've got it all there. So, and now, you can't see that, it's too small. This is where the tools come in on the top row of the toolbar. We're going to highlight the text that we just entered, and we're going to change the size of it because this is the heading, this is the front door of your classroom. This is the first thing people are going to see for information for you and your class on your classes. So we're going to change the size of that font. So I'm going to click on the quill pen, the styles, and I'm going to go down and pick normal. Look at the other options. Everything is pretty much relative to whatever you select first. I say pick normal first. I'm going to click it. So here it's a little size. It's hard to say if this is a 12, 14, 16, 18 font. That kind of thing doesn't translate to a web page. It's just bigger, smaller, etc. So we have said that that's going to be normal. I'm going to make it largest. That's as big as an option you have using this tool. And I'm also going to make it bold, and I'm also going to put it in the center of my page. And there we are. Now, we've got a title, a greeting. Now I want you to know who I am. I'm going to use a little different tool here. I'm going to say, let's put the horizontal line. Now, I am Mr. Colbago, and I teach 9th grade ELA. Let's change that size of that. Let's make that normal. Next piece of information is how to contact me. We strongly recommend, in fact, I think it's stronger than that, how are parents going to contact you? How could students contact you? How could anybody contact you? We want to provide them with your email address. Okay, so now we come down to the second row of our toolbar, and we're going to insert a link. That's what it is. It's going to link to your email address. So I click on the little link symbol, and it asks me what kind of a link I'm going to insert here. I want to insert various choices. The two that we're going to work with are right here, the email address right now, and then down a couple minutes, we're going to look at the web address function. So here is the email address option. So I'm going to click on it. Over here, it changes and is looking for some input. In order to have an email address, that's obviously a requirement. That's what the red star is indicating. So I'm going to type my email address. gcolbago@nfschools.net. You also need to attach that to some words, text that's going to appear on your web page. So that is what's being asked for here. What text do you want to display to indicate the email address? The most direct way to do this is to retype the same email address here. I could type my name. I could type the words email, and they become a link to the email address. Not everyone is comfortable or familiar or may understand that that's what you're doing there. So the simplest solution is to simply retype the email address. And you can copy and paste it by highlighting and putting it down here. Okay, so now we've got, this is where it's going, and this is what it's going to look like. I'm going to insert the link. And now on your web page, notice it's slightly different. I don't know if I can do that. Okay. It's underlined. You're familiar with this format. When you come across this on a web page, this is indicating that that is a link. It goes somewhere else. This is going to go to the default email program on whatever device you're using to view the page. It could be your home computer. It could even be your phone. It could be a tablet, an iPad. That whatever the default email address, email program is there, it will pull up, it will open up, and this will be in the line, the to line. This is where it's going to, and then you complete the email with the subject and the body of the email text, okay? So now we got that link. Now I want to dress up the site a little bit. I want to enhance it with an image. I'm going to insert an image. So I click on the next tool button, the little icon that looks like a mountain landscape in the background. It wants to know, where is that picture? Where is the image that you want to now put on your web page? Where is it? It may be on your computer. You may have saved it on your hard drive. It may be in your OneDrive. Wherever it is, you have to find it so that you can then upload it. It could be a cloud image. This is now we're getting a little off. It could be again in your OneDrive. It may be that you have access to your Google Photos drive, that kind of thing. We're not endorsing or recommending that you clutter up your web page with a whole lot of images. It's fairly typical to see a teacher's web page. Maybe they have their picture on it. Maybe they have their picture standing in front of the doorway welcoming their class into their classroom. It might be a picture of the front of the classroom. It might be a picture of some unique feature within your classroom. It could be maybe a symbol for the subject area and so on. What we're going to do here is this system is built, the Blackboard. There are some existing images. Now, once you put up an image from your computer, wherever it's located, once you put it up, it then becomes an existing image. You don't have to upload it each time you want to use it. So that would be an existing image file that's created when you upload your first image. The shared image. Blackboard has a number of images that have been up and are shared freely throughout the district. That's where we're going to find our image, and I'm going to click on the shared image folder. That means everybody can see these, and by and large, they're images of the schools in the district. I'm not sure if they are all here. I haven't gone through with a checklist, but if I'm using this little slider here, so just to make them easier for me to recognize. Different school buildings, that's fine, that's fine. Here's Niagara Falls High School. That's the one I'm going to select. But you have some other options. Here's Niagara Falls High School before it was built or during the process. And these are all here as shared images. A lot of teachers at Niagara Falls High School may use the Wolverines logo on their webpage. Terrific. You can select that. We're going back and pick the image of the school building itself and hit the continue button. Continue, keep going, because there's more to do. Here's the picture that you selected. It needs some alternative text. That goes back to that ADA compliance requirement. When a person, a handicapped person, comes to the web page and is using a screen reader, that means it's a voice recorder, it's a voice telling the operator, telling the user what's underneath the mouse you're pointing, the mouse pointer. So it would say whatever you use as the alternative text. You must have alternative text. So it's going to, this alternative text is going to be a picture of Niagara Falls High School. Do not change any of these options here. They are defaulted. The alignment, that is where it's going to appear on the page, is now defaulted to the current location of the cursor on the page. So I insert the image, and there it is. Now I'm on my web page. That looks a little too big, perhaps, or perhaps in some cases it's too small. So when you click on it, it entirely reverse highlights into a blue background with 4 grabs on each grab on each corner, and you can simply drag towards the center and you can scale the picture down. You can scale it up, you can scale it down, and it's just a matter of personal preference, what you like. You want it to dominate, or do you want to just make it small, just as a nice little feature on your web page, okay? Now, so we have used the image button, insert an image. We got that. We've inserted a link, the email address. Now we're going to insert a link to another website. This is what you're going to be doing a lot, I suspect. You have resources in your class. Some teachers are using a link here to go to the Symbaloo page if you're an elementary teacher. Or if you have some favorite resources that you use in your social studies class. It might be the Library of Congress, or the science might go to Science Netlinks, a resource of science material and lessons and so on. Whatever it is a hyperlink, and it's going to be require us to use this tool here. Again, it's the insert link. What kind of a link do we want? Previously, we used the email. Now we want a link to an email address. I click on that option, and over here now I have something else to complete. What is the URL, the address that goes into the internet to go to that website? We suggest, and we've done this all along working with web pages, that whatever the web pages are that you want to go to, that you already have them up and running in the background up here in your browser if you're using the Chrome browser. So then you can simply go to that website, grab, copy, and paste the web address here. For simple demonstration purposes, I'm going to my favorite of the week. We're going to a safe search engine, duckduckgo.com. That's the name of this website. That's where it's located. And now, as we did with the email address, we also have to have some text to display. So I'm going to expand this a little bit, and you'll see why. Click to go to DuckDuckGo search engine. Okay. My next choice, and this is a vital choice here, is what do you want to happen when you click, or anyone clicks on that link on your web page? We strongly suggest that you take the option that's right here, open in a new window. That means it's going to open in a new tab on your browser. It's not going to open up on top of your web page. That's where I get lost sometimes. I finish with that website, I want to go back, I click the X. Well, if you open it in the same window and you click the X, you actually click the browser, the tab to your web page, and then they have to go back in again. So open in a new window, then you can simply X out of that window when you're finished using it, or keep it running, whatever it happens to be. So again, we've typed in the web address, we've typed in the text it's going to be associated with, and we've told it where to open up. I'm going to insert the link here. And now it appears on my web page. Again, none of this is live. We haven't saved this yet. You may find it much simpler to save each step of the way, as you can work on each item of content here. That may be another reason to use more than one content app. You can save them as you go. We haven't saved this yet. This web page is not live yet. I want to insert another file here. I want to upload a file, a document that my students need to work with, maybe a permission form, or maybe it's maybe a little group of lessons, some activities I want them to complete by a certain time. This is where we're at. This whole business this week is trying to get things out to the students, out to the families. Here are some things to do. Those packets are one thing, terrific. Here is another way to keep that stream current. So we're going to insert, upload a file. Okay, upload file. I click on this button here. We have the link, we have the picture, now we have the file. Where is the file that you want to put up on your web page. That's what's being asked here. Again, it's going to be very likely first time through. It's going to be something you have to upload from your computer. It may well be on your hard drive. It could be up in your OneDrive. If it's on the H drive at school, you're out of luck. You can't get there unless you're in school in the district network. So you're going to upload a file. No doubt they all start off on your computer when you create them. So it could be on a thumb drive. They could well be there. Or you may create it brand new, fresh, save it to your computer in a folder somewhere on your desktop, and then upload from there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go find the file that I want to upload. My file happens to be on my desktop. And it is a PDF. We're going to show the difference, if we have time, between a PDF and a regular Word document. So I'm picking on the PDF. It's a word assignment. It's a vocabulary exercise. Continue. What's the text to display? Okay. I'm going to call this a vocabulary exercise. Here is where I predict maybe some mistakes will occur, is where do you want the target to open up? Notice it didn't default to a new tab or a new window. I'm going to choose that. Open link in a new window. Now we insert the file, and here it is on my web page. Okay, vocabulary exercise. I'm going to do that one more time, Gene, so that we can see the difference between the PDF and the Word file.
I don't understand why you don't hear me. Could be because I'm muted. But yeah, go right ahead, please.
Yes. Yes, I wasn't hearing anything you were thinking.
Yeah.
Let's call this Word Study in MS Word. And that's going to open up in a new window. Word Study in MS Word, Microsoft Word. I'm going to insert that. So we have them here. Now, voila, let's make it live. Let's save it and see what it looks like on the web page live. I got the indication that it is indeed live. So now I'm going to go look at my web page. You can click out here. You can X out here now. And then I'm going to X out here. Now I'm going to go look at my web page. And I'm going to refresh it. This is what you will see when you come to my web page as an outsider. Parent, students, this is how you are greeted. Welcome to my class web page, Mr. Colbago, 9th grade, English Language Arts. Here's how you contact me. You could put some associated text around there, like feel free to email me. I think this is self-explanatory, but again, we can't assume too much on our audience. You could add some text there. Here is our Niagara Falls High School. Notice when I put the mouse on it, it says picture of Niagara Falls High School. Now we're compliant. And now here is the link to the website. We're going to go to DuckDuckGo. It opened up a new tab in my browser. And here is the search engine. And it functions very similar to any search engine. You type in your term, hit the little spyglass, magnifying glass, and it goes out and searches for whatever the term was you put in here. Same as Google and so on. You can put any number of, there are different search engines. There are many more than just simply Google. And those are the kinds of things I'm hoping you're teaching your students as well. Let's go back to the web page. That link works. I did not separate this on a separate line, I guess, Gene. So here is the vocabulary exercise. It's opening up the PDF of the word study assignment. Today's word study is about contronyms. Boom, 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 and the little exercise that students can complete here. If I go back to my web page and click the second one, it's going to open up in Microsoft Word. Wait a minute. It didn't open up a tab up here. Look way down in the left-hand corner. Here is where it downloaded the file. It actually didn't open it up in the browser. It downloaded it. To view it and work with it, you have to open it up. It's opening up Microsoft Word, and it's going to open it up to that worksheet. Enable editing. And now you're in familiar territory. Here is Microsoft Word with its 47,000 different options in the ribbon. Not too confusing. But now this is actually a live document that can be edited. So if this is something you're expecting maybe students to complete at different level grades, whatever, they can go in and actually edit the document. If you see where I'm putting my cursor, it's live and I can make a change. Okay. A PDF cannot be edited. It stays as it has appeared. So that might be something that you rely on. In fact, that is the strong recommendation to stay compliant, is to work with PDFs. You don't know what device the audience is going to be looking at. I'm not going to save it. We're going to close that out, go back to our web page. So there's a lot of considerations. A PDF are safe. You can create a PDF in Microsoft Word. Let me open that one more time. And Gene, this is a little more than we did before.
Yeah, and I have one thing at the end that Diane has asked us to tell.
Okay, thank you. I'll be right with you.
Not a problem.
Here is the Word document. One of your options, you may or may not have known this, when you go to Save As, you're telling it where to save it, etc. Over here on this line, it defaults to a Word document format, but you can save it as a PDF. That means it looks like what I was showing you on that other tab. That is how I did that with this. So that's just another, say, cautionary thing that I want to remind you of. We're going to be talking about maybe level 2, level 3 webinars, trainings, professional development on working with the additional features that are built into Blackboard and the website tool.
Okay.
All right, go ahead, Gene.
Okay, if you give me the screen, there's one little thing that Diane has just emailed me and asked us to remind you or to kind of warn you about.
You should have the screen.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, when you are working, okay, you remember how we could make these inactive, okay, active or inactive. Do not make all of these inactive. If you do, you will probably be locked out. Okay, remember that happened yesterday when we got that crazy.
Oh, the big red X on the screen.
The red thing. Yeah, you'll get a.
Yes,
yeah,
good tip.
Yeah.
Good tip.
So Diane says, always keep, even if you don't want it while you're creating the good one, keep one or more pages open.
That might be a good thing, like a reason to have 2 content apps. The first one is welcome to my class webpage.
Yeah. And then another one with your content. Yeah, that would be a good reason for that. But Diane says that'll save her a lot of work. So we will do that. Okay. We want to make sure that that's taken care of. Okay. There was one other little thing that we need to talk about. So give me a call when we're done, Raj, if you would.
Okay. Any general questions?
No, as a matter of fact, well, somebody asked about the best browser to use. It's kind of up to you. We kind of use Chrome.
Diane recommended Chrome yesterday.
Yeah, and she did. And whatever you do, don't use Explorer because that is gone, and we don't anybody.
Edge has some issues as well.
Yeah.
Chrome is the browser of choice.
Yeah, and Firefox probably would work as well, but yes. Other
Yeah.
than that, do I have a sample completed teacher web page? No, we don't, Susan. But
You
but
know
if
what?
you
May
if
I
you go,
recommend one?
I was just going to say some teachers do. Go ahead. Which
Yes.
teacher?
Gene, on your screen, pull up, go to a different school, and I think he is joining us at some point today. Select school,
Oh,
select Hyde Park,
oh
select
yes, I
Mr.
know where you're
Evers.
going. I know where you're going. I know where you're going, our
Go
friend.
to, go to Hyde Park.
And I think you're talking about this one here,
I don't see it yet.
David Leahy.
No, I'm talking about Mr. Evers.
Oh, you got me. I thought it was okay. Okay, well, okay. Evers at Hyde Park?
Yes.
I don't see an Evers. I see an Evans, Rick Evans.
Evans, I beg your pardon, Rich.
Okay. All right. Yeah, here's one that you could use. The one thing that he has on there that we may not recommend is the animated GIFs. Okay, due to the fact that the ADA compatibility and so forth, they're not recommended. Okay.
For content,
Yeah.
look at what he's got.
Yeah.
His contact me at the bottom of the page is where his email address is. If you click on that, he's got a picture and uh, so on his home page. This hits just about all the marks. He's been using it for a while.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that might give you an idea. Um, there are oh boy, there is, and I don't want to take too much of your time. If you do go to, if I have 1 minute, go to the home page, go to staff and technology resources for teachers. Okay. Raj has put up some Blackboard help pages here, by the way, and you can go to them. But on this one right here, website guidelines, there is a booklet right here that will give you some ideas of things that you can put on your website. It's really good. It's
Yeah,
somewhat
and
dated.
some do's and don'ts.
Yeah, some do's and don'ts and so forth and so on. It's somewhat dated, but it's still very, very useful. So, and also take a look at those the Blackboard help pages. Raj puts them up, and they could be okay.
And there are questions again. Gene offered this a couple times. You can email either one of us. We're on the email directory. Simple G Colbago at NF Schools, R Carroll at NF
Yeah,
Schools.
sure.
We will try to get to your questions as we can and try to address
Yeah.
them.
There are several questions coming up now, and we don't want to take this away from your time away because, and we also have to get ready for the next one. I'll be honest with you. I see 2 or 3 good questions, Catherine and Tom, especially. Could you put those in your survey, and we will get back to you, and we will even post them, frequently asked questions or whatever when we get done. Okay. Thank you for joining us.
And Gene, go ahead. Thank you. And I just want to remind people that this session is recorded.
Yes.
And there will be one or two, at least one of probably the best of the webinars for complete information that will be posted on the website after you're finished binge watching Ozark or one of those things on Netflix. You could come and binge watch one of our webinar series.
Yeah, we're not calling them the best of, we're calling them the least worst of.
There you go.
There you go. And with that, have a great day, everybody, and stay safe, and we hope to see you soon.
Yes, take care.